Why does so much of Reddit hate religion? As a non-religious person who lives in the southern USA, I don't often get a chance to talk about my beliefs on religion, or even reveal to people that I'm an atheist. This can be really frustrating at times. This is why so many atheist spaces online are the way they are. They're full of people venting the things they can't express in their day-to-day lives. A lot of atheist spaces also skew pretty young, and younger people tend to say more extreme things online. In addition, most atheists in the US are converts from some religion, most often Christianity. People who are converts, especially new converts, are always more fervent in the way they talk about their beliefs. And atheism is no exception. Another factor could be that politics and religion are so intertwined in the USA. Religious people hold a lot of political power, and sometimes criticism of those policies bleeds over and becomes criticism of religion as well. I'll also point out that atheists aren't the only ones doing these things. There's already another comment here about how atheists don't have morals, are immature, and are following a trend. So people of all religious beliefs can fall victim to this kind of thinking and behavior. For me personally, years of religious trauma and a value in all things secular. While I don't hate religion, I hate seeing religion used as a weapon in politics. It doesn't belong there. For me, it's more personal. My mom was so into being a Christian she'd get herself into some cult-like situations, and it disgusts me that people can just say they're a pastor or a messenger for Christ, and take advantage of women who weren't taught better, or have mental illnesses, or with kids, take their money and normalize certain behaviors that should never be perceived as normal. After I moved out of my personal hell, my brother would tell me that our mother thought he was possessed because he likes the color black and wanted his room black as any emo 15-year-old would, just because some old lady with a huge ego and deflated tits said so. And he was forced to go to a mental hospital 4 times for simply being himself. By liking the color black, wanting tats and piercings like his dad and sis. Despite everything, though I identify as Christian, it's a firm relationship between the universe, God, and yourself is how I view it. I respect others' religions regardless. There's just some things that will urk my soul till the end because of my experiences. Large portion of Reddit is a left-leaning younger crowd. As an older guy, religion has been weaponized in recent years. If you want to preach against sins, please do. But a lot of preachers will preach for, or not against, anything that gives them power. When you see people getting sick and dying because they believe God will protect them, not a vaccine, because that is what their preacher told them, we have a problem. When we have conservatives who don't want to educate their children because they might hear something they don't like, we have a problem. And when those semi-educated kids become adults working for $12 an hour, who gets the blame? When people are deifying Trump when he plainly has broken at least 4 of the 10 commandments. But we can overlook that because he gives the conservatives more power. That is a problem. Interestingly, when Roe v. Wade was being debated in the 1970s, the only religion that fought against it were some Catholics. Later, when churches realized it could motivate their flocks, it became front and center, even though there is practically nothing written about it in the Bible. I will be the first to admit I am not a Christian, but I look at the basic teachings of Christ and I just don't see churchgoers living that, preachers preaching that. Other things are more important. And the only connection to the other things I see is they are things that give the church more power. People lash out when they've been deeply hurt. Religion has been the biggest negative influence on my life and relationships. When going through my lowest point, those types of anti-religion posts made me feel less alone. But I agree with you that in general it's better to not harbor so much hate. Trying to forgive and move on. And focus on positive things. That's what helps me heal. As an American, I dislike how religion is used to take away people's rights. A congressman just referred to women as earthen vessels, sanctified by God, while trying to abolish Roe v. Wade. Sad part is, they probably will. I'm mainly fed up with religious people because they use their beliefs to hold others down. Often, they use their special book to prove their point, despite the fact that their book doesn't say shit about the subject. For abortion, or is totally useless and outdated in this day and age. For women should stay quiet in the congregation. But mostly I dislike them because they won't accept that we all have different paths in life. Don't like gay marriage? Well, don't marry someone of your own sex then. Don't approve of sex before, outside marriage? Well, don't have sex out of wedlock then. Don't like abortions? Well, don't have one then. Don't believe in science and medicine? Well, move to a cave then. By all means, stay away from modern life as a whole and don't infect others with your unvaccinated body. But just leave other people be. Let others do what they want and need to do. You can be a good person without believing in God, and you can only be a good person if you are good and fair to others. I love my religion because it gives me hope in a world so depressing and points me to higher way of thinking, like loving and accepting others even if they are different, mean to you, etc. Everything good I have in life comes from following my beliefs. What I hate about religion is people using it to control others. I also dislike priestcrafts, where churches are built up to make money. I think Joel Osteen-type personalities and other megachurches are not good and take advantage of those trying to praise the God. I can totally see why people are turned off of religion. I am Christian and fall in this camp. For me, I just see so many people justify their actions through religion, for seemingly no fucking reason. Doing so much evil and being so wicked, yet either convincing themselves they are serving Christ or just shielding themselves from criticism. Anyone who tries to justify cutting off aid to the poor cannot claim to be Christian. Anyone advocating for hating their neighbors or acting against their neighbors can't claim to know Christ. Anyone who persecutes others cannot claim to serve Christ. I mostly keep my religion to myself, because I'm fucking appalled by what Christians advocate for. Because it's often used to justify behavior and policy that infect other people's lives who do not agree. I feel to a certain extent it's because there are people in positions to make decisions or provide commentary and doing it from a solely religious perspective and not caring about any perspective. Because in their mind, it's a black and white issue with no room for discussion. Take abortion. People can point out that the Bible mentions that life begins at first breath and it doesn't matter to religious people. Talking Christianity here. Because for their agenda they're pushing life begins at conception despite there being nothing in the Bible to state this. So this then annoys pro-lifers, for example, because there is no room for debate, and so they switch over to making fun for the fairy tales. Religious people believe they have the one absolute correct answer for everyone. A lot of violence in the world is committed in the name of religion. I think there's a ton of trauma that a lot of people have from being raised in religious environments. I myself experienced great deal of trauma from being raised with Christianity. I am trans and lesbian and living in middle of Muslim community. So yeah, not the most welcoming people, I'll say lol. Christian bit more chill on average but still pretty annoying on average. Generally speaking, it's probably due to the amount of chaos religion has caused historically. A great deal of human suffering has been due to religion. It's pretty easy to hate TBH. Why foster critical thinking when you can just breed the whole family into the same box? Blah. But realistically, I have a strong distaste for it because of how it affected my life as a young gay kid growing up. Reddit as a prime breeding ground for edgy self-proclaimed intellectuals. It's pretty easy to find people who will go out of their way to pick apart the smallest details of someone's argument. Sometimes even using simple typos as a way to say, gotcha. I win the argument because you're clearly an idiot. These people often equate atheism with being intellectual. To them, to refuse to believe in a magic man in the sky is one of the great hallmarks of being truly enlightened. In my opinion, it's a bit silly when you consider that spirituality can be much more than just believing in some magic deity. But I also kinda can't blame the atheists that do this. Because like others have commented, some of them grew up in very strict religious households. And they've had to deal with religion being used against them as a weapon and a disciplinary tool. I don't have anything against atheists. And although I'm a Christian myself, I can definitely understand why a lot of them feel the way they do. There are some truly horrible people out there who dare to claim that they're Christians. The only time that it really bothers me is when an atheist tries to shoehorn their atheism into a completely unrelated discussion. Say you have, I dunno, a video of a lion doing an epic takedown on a wildebeest or something. You might have a cheeky atheist in the comments saying something like, look how much the wildebeest suffered. So much for Christianity's so-called loving God. That's a bit of an extreme example. But I'm sure that I'm not the only one who has seen something like this. I think those atheists are the ones who are just trying to be edgy and intellectual. I wouldn't want to have a discussion with them. But I'd be happy to spar with an atheist who offers genuinely thoughtful commentary in threads that are specifically about religion. I've mentioned in many religious discussions that I am Christian. And amusingly enough, only one person on Reddit has ever given me shit for it. That person had to be an atheist. Right? Nope. It was a militant Christian who thought that I was too soft for seeing Muslims as human beings and not violent animals. It's people like that who make think, yeah, I really can't blame the atheists. Well, at least we don't burn the religious at the stake. Bomb abortion clinics or fly planes into buildings. Besides, we don't hate. We hold in contempt. Mainly used as a tool to oppress people. Using their faith as an excuse to act shitty and be proud of being hateful bigots. Makes people fucking dumb. I wouldn't say I hate religion. Religions are fine. It's the fucking theists that are wacky. Because those religious systems and the common shared beliefs they are based on has caused great suffering throughout history and continues to do so.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AThiccBahstonAccent is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.